What does this team need to do to keep this success that they're having and carry it into the postseason?
Bro, it has to be this defense. The defense has to get a better pass rush and get the quarterbacks uncomfortable. I think that part of the game has really, because they're winning football games and how they're winning football games, a lot of press and a lot of conversation has been how well the offense is clicking with the acquisition of Derrick Henry. But what people are not talking about, and they shouldn't because they're winning, is the defense and the transitional period with the new defensive coordinator or he's learning, right? But also some of the players that they don't have anymore. And I want to say, I was watching the game a little bit and I kind of had to mute it and stop because I love Troy.
Yeah.
And Buck, great dudes.
Yeah.
But they call Raekwon Smith Patrick Queen, and Patrick Queen plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I did hear that. Yeah.
I heard that too. Now, if that was me, people have been talking all about Steve. See, you can't know what he's doing. Not all black people look alike in the helmets, though, because you don't really see their face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just asking.
I'll tell you this right now. There's no other human being on the planet that looks like Derrick Henry. I'll say that right now. And this is a point I wanted to get into, Steve. You look at what Derrick Henry's doing right now. He is on pace currently to break Eric Dickerson's record for most rushing yards in a season. Now, he will have an extra game, but right now he is on pace for 2,120 yards. The record is 2,105 yards. Yes, we know in 2020, Derrick Henry did have a 2,000-yard season. He's done it before. Can he do it again when he's 30, when he's going to turn 31, I believe, this season? But what stands out to me the most is we had some backs change teams this offseason. We had Derrick Henry go to the Ravens, which there are a lot of teams right now kicking themselves going, wait, for $9 million guaranteed this season, I could have had Derrick Henry. That's not astronomical. But the Ravens pulled the trigger on it. Right down I-95, Saquon Barkley goes from the Giants down to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, he's not 30, he's 27, but he is carrying their team right now. He is carrying the Philadelphia Eagles on his back. He is their offense, essentially, the way he's playing. He's third in rushing, second in scrimmage yards. He's extremely important to that team. And then you have Josh Jacobs, who's even younger, 26, but also changes teams, goes to the Green Bay Packers. What is a similarity when you think about the Packers, the Ravens, the Eagles, and I'll throw another team in there, the Chiefs, which were highly interested in Josh Jacobs. When I look at those four teams, Steve, I think of really good front offices. I think of teams that construct teams very, very well. So if these type of teams are going after these backs that have been cast off, whether it's money, whether it's age, whether it's both, in their previous stop, I'm seeing some teams that are pretty good at building rosters and are pretty intelligent in how they put their teams together.
Yeah.
Not really caring about either one of those and going out and getting these players. And I think they've helped change some of their teams. And we can look at some of these older backs too that didn't change. Alvin Kamara is still an extremely, extremely talented running back in this league. And the guy's almost 30. So, I think the approach to the running back position might be reevaluated a little bit after this year. We're seeing that with the linebacker spot with some teams. The value on a middle linebacker varies greatly from team to team, right? There's some teams like Baltimore, Kansas City, San Francisco that value the linebacker extremely important. There's other ones that don't. And so I just want to kind of point this out and say, what we're seeing from Derrick Henry, we're seeing from Saquon Barkley, some pretty smart teams have had some interest in these guys and having them turn around their teams, and it's been kind of fun to watch, and we'll see if it continues.
Well, first of all, that was a loaded, just great information, and as you were talking, I'm thinking about
they're spinning a little bit.
I'm spinning and understanding when you look at these teams and you go back in the history of it. Sometimes people don't always value and understand that these teams have a philosophy and their front office knows exactly how they want to construct this offense and the defense. They have a direction and they're not really gonna change from that direction. And when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, some of these teams you talked about, and I look at the San Francisco 49ers and compare them, it's understanding that they have a philosophy and they have an offense that fits these mold of players.
That's true.
But
Good
they
point.
also are not looking at my system makes the players. And then all of a sudden, if those players are not available because of injury or go out in a game, all of a sudden you start to see that it's not the system, it's really the player. And now the system is a little bit not as good because you don't have that type of player, almost kind of like the college game. You know, when I look at Alabama and some of the stories that I've heard with Alabama, one of the things that really started to wear down is so this is, you may not know this. I found this out. Other people may know it, but that's great. Get your own YouTube channel and then we'll listen to you and then it'll be cool. So I heard over the years, the University of Alabama under Nick Saban ran the same system of offense. They never changed it. Every offensive coordinator they had to do their offense. Bill O'Brien, you name it, Lane Kiffin, they had to do their offense because they never wanted to change it because they wanted the familiarity. Well, when you look at some of these teams now, and I'm going off because I got to take you there. I was talking to some people and they asked me, hey, have you looked at such and such receiver? And I said, when there's certain groups of receivers at certain schools, I always go in with an asterisk and I tell the people that talk to me, get him on the board to know if he knows what he's doing and does he know the why he's doing it?
Yeah.
Or is he being coached to do it because of the offensive mind of that college? And so when that happens, that's where that transition as a young player, where all of a sudden these coaches get these players and they go, I need to put this guy because he's a speed guy and I got a possession guy and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And then all of a sudden it doesn't work out. That has to do with understanding who you are.
True.
A lot of these offensive coordinators don't always understand each individual player. Like my number one, he's a vertical and horizontal guy. My number two, he has to be a possession guy who also knows where and how to line up. My number three guy has to have some value, but also be able to play multiple positions without practicing at all because the number one and number two guys are going to get the reps.
True.
So with all that being said, my point is the teams that are doing well with the new acquisitions, they go out and shop. Now they may come across hungry, but they go out and shop for a particular item, not looking for any item. Because when you do that, you buyer beware, you start to have buyer remorse because the guy you paid for athletically is good, but aesthetically does not work in our flow of the house of how we want to do things. Passing, play action, RPO game, dissect and identifying the linebackers. Can he make adjustments at the line and change the shifting of the blocking scheme? Not every quarterback has the ability to do that or is capable of doing that. And so you got to also understand that with the players and the coordinators and the coaches, they have to know exactly who they have and where they're having them versus just getting a guy and go, okay, hey, he's our 10th player, put him here. They have a purpose, have a plan.
That's exactly right. And I think that's the interesting part to circle this back to these backs I'm talking about.
Yes.
Saquon Barkley and going out and getting him is not the norm for the Philadelphia Eagles. But what did Howie Roseman do? He talked to his new offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore and said, what do you need? He said, if you can get me Saquon Barkley, that skill set works in the offense that I want to work, and it takes our offense to another level. You get the piece that you said fits what you want to do.